Well, Julia Gillard's popularity problems can be summed up in a few words: Craig Thomson and the High Court. It's been a torrid couple of weeks, and that's shown up in the latest news poll. Support for the Prime Minister has crashed to a record low. Her ministers admit these are very tough times for the government, but Julia Gillard says democracy isn't about fortnightly opinion polls. Here's Chief Political Correspondent Mark Simpkin.
Julia Gillard isn't running away, but she is taking off. She's leaving the country as the most unpopular Prime Minister in nearly 2 decades.
I don't do this job as Prime Minister because I want to see it reflected in opinion polls. I do this job as Prime Minister because I want to do what's right for the nation's future.
What are being reflected in the polls are the Malaysia non-solution and the Craig Thomson affair. The coalition now holds a landslide lead after preferences, putting Labor in a much worse position than when Kevin Rudd got rolled.
I don't think anybody would be surprised with the opinion polls we've seen today, given the last couple of weeks that we've had.
Insiders aren't surprised, but they are despondent, and voters are making it personal. In the year since Julia Gillard became Prime Minister, her approvals plunged, while the disapproval rating soared, jumping another 7 points in a fortnight.
Who they stick out the front as their figurehead is really irrelevant. It's, you know, sort of the mangled carving on the front of a sinking boat. Who cares?
Some government backbenchers are predicting electoral oblivion, although the ministers remain on message.
Julia Gillard is tough as nails.
Prime Minister Gillard is one of the toughest ladies ever to enter politics.
I think she has a vision, she's smart and she's tough.
But not popular. Certainly not compared to the man she deposed as Prime Minister.
We made our choice about leadership. There's no vacancy. No one is seriously suggesting that be disturbed.
No one is seriously suggesting that, although some of the more disgruntled Labor MPs aren't ruling it out in the future. As one told the ABC, self-preservation is the only god politicians bow down to. In the meantime, the government's governing. It'll introduce the carbon tax bills to Parliament next Tuesday and is trying to stitch together a new asylum seeker policy. Julia Gillard's offered Tony Abbott a briefing on the legal situation. He's accepted. It's a small step towards a bipartisan solution, but hardly a breakthrough.
Gee whiz.
Mark Simpkin, ABC News, Canberra.